Hello and welcome to the next tutorial. Today we'll be making, that's right, some random mouse I've never seen before in my entire life. Just kidding, this is obviously Mickey. Now, why are there two different Mickeys? Well, I saw this Mickey, say about a week ago, and at first I was very impressed with him. I thought, wow, what great work. Now, this wasn't mine. So I saw it, I'm like, you know what? That's pretty good. But then I saw the arms and I'm like, you know what? I think I can do that better. And then I saw the feet and I'm like, yeah, I think I can make that better too. So I decided to create my own tutorial. I love the face, by the way. I really do. My face, it's okay. But I really do like the face here. But with that in mind, I'm getting rid of this guy. I'm going to show you how to make mine. And you can change the face however you like. Now, I'm going to be working off this image that I found on the internet. As you can see, they're exactly the same. It's so strange how exactly the same they are. So let's get started. Let's start off with the feet. I'm going to start off with, let's do a sphere. I'm going to change that, drag it to 24 and change the color to yellow. The height is going to be 6. So let's do that. 6. I'm going to hit the number 6 and enter. There it is. Now that I look at it, I'm going to make that more like 8. Now the reason why is because now that I see this, I know I'm going to be getting rid of the bottom part just because I want to make it flat at the bottom. So I'm going to move this up. Right now it's at 20, should be about 20 wide, and 31. That sounds about right. It's a little bit big. Let's make that 28. All right. And I'm going to rotate this a little bit. Let's say 17. Now, at this point, I'm going to cut it a little bit. I'm going to bring in a box, a cube that's a hole. Right now, this is at 20 in height. I'm going to put that as -20, and it goes straight down. I want you to see what it does. It goes straight to the work plane. I'm going to move this down by 2. So let's see, 1, 2, and now it's going to make it flat. You see how that works? It's going to cut off the bottom part. All right. And now that I'm looking at it, I really think I should go a little bit more. So I am going to go down a little bit more. Oops, I have them both selected. I'm liking that better because I do want it to be flat down here. And after I get rid of this bottom part, I'm just going to stretch it up a little bit. So I'm going to group these two. Hold on, let me make sure the back is okay. Yes, it's fine. So I'm going to hit Control G, or you can press this button up here. All right, so now it's flat at the bottom. It's looking more like a foot. I think it's a little bit too wide. Again, we're trying to create a model, so you can change it if you like. I'm going to duplicate this one, Control D, or you can press this button up here, and I'm going to move that forward, and then up. 1 is too much, and in fact, I'm going to undo that. I'm going to click away, and then I'm going to drag it up because it thought I wanted everything to move up. I don't. I just want the top part to move up. That's a little bit better. Now I want it to blend in more over here, so I'm going to drag this over here. And this is what's going to give the curvature at the front of the foot. There you go. You see how it's looking like that? Now, another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate, this one right here. I'm going to drag it back. And then I'm going to try to make it as close to a sphere as possible, or at least half a sphere, and put it back here. Let's see what the dimensions are. 10 by 11. That's close enough. Now, I'm not sure if you noticed this, but on his foot, let me drag this over here. There's a little bit of a bump before the donut, which is what's happening next. So that's what I'm trying to recreate. And I'm just going to bring it up right there. Now, you don't really see this, but it's those little details that make it just a little bit cooler. I'm going to bring in a torus. That's this blue one here. I'm going to increase the sides, turn it yellow. And I'm going to hit Shift. I'm going to hold the Shift button down, and I'm going to drag this down. I'll move it up now. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Shift, drag this down. it's pretty thick, so I'm not sure if I need to drag it down or make it. I'm going to change the tube thickness to, let's say, 2. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then drag it up a little bit. I think we have what we want there. Now, I think we're done with the foot, but let's see what we have here. Yeah, we have a tube here. So I'm going to bring in this cylinder. I'm going to maximize the sides by dragging this over. I'm going to change it to black. Now I'm going to just drag this up. Just drag it up because I know I'm going to want, let me, there you go. The number doesn't really matter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit shift and I want to get a tube that I think would be right. So right now what I have, the numbers are, I'm going to change that to 5 by 5. And let's make that 15 because I'm going to shrink it just a little bit more. 14 and 13. Okay. So we're good there. I'm going to drag this over and let's see how it fits. Not bad, but you know what? I see a little bit of the foot there. So I'm going to drag this down by hitting control or command. It's command here and then the down arrow. Not bad. Not bad. I do see that this bump is not where I want it to be. I want it to be closer to there. I'm going to change the snap grid, which is usually behind my little model there. That's right, he models, because I want this to be all centered. Right. Oh, let me click on this guy right here. I'm going to change the angle because it's hard to move it when you can't really see. There you go. That's better. All right. I like the way this looks. Now I'm going to drag this up. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to move it over one. I'm going to copy the whole thing and duplicate, Control D, or you can press that button there. And I'm also going to click on the mirror tool. There it is. And I'm going to drag it over here. Okay. So now this one, I want to change the angle because if you look at this, the leg is kind of at an angle. So let's change that to about 15. And then I'm going to move the arrow key. That's good. Now, this one, oddly enough, is not going in the opposite direction. It's not going this way. It's going a little bit this way, like its whole body is shifting a little bit. Okay, there we go. So we got the legs. Great. And now the hard part, everything else. Actually, when I made this model, I found the hardest part to be the mouth. Really, the mouth. Everything else seems pretty easy. Now, we're going to do the pant leg, and I'm just going to... No, I'll just make a brand new one. I'm going to bring in a brand new cylinder, increase the sides, change it to red. I'm going to hit shift. Now, just wanted it big enough to cover his leg. Here is something important. I want you to see this angle right here. The reason I have this angled, besides it, actually in the drawing, it is not facing up. It is facing down. But I want this to have no supports. So to do that, I want the short leg to be down and the front to be up. That way it prints here and it doesn't need supports for the rest. So that's what I'm going to do here. So right now, let me move back because this is kind of close. I'm going to tilt this back using this tool right here. Back. And then also I'm going to tilt it to the left like that. Now what I want is for the back of this, let's zoom in a little bit, to also be right where the leg is. So I'm going to move this up with the arrows on my keyboard. That might be too much. I'm going to move it back. Oop, wrong way. There, that should work. Again, I'm doing this just because I want to be able to print it without any supports. And I'm going to do the opposite over here. Actually, touches the opposite. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to duplicate this one, Control D, or click that button right there. I'm going to hit Shift. All right. Now, I am going to move this a little bit over here. Now I'm going to check the back because I want to make sure that it's, yeah, that's why you check the back, people. That's why. I'm going to click the letter F, so this is going to go more in the center. And zoom out a little bit. Okay, I have this selected, so I'm going to use the arrow keys on my keyboard to move this back. And again, I want this to be right there. Then that will not need supports. Okay, so now we're going to bring in a sphere, another one. And here we go. We're going to increase the size to 24. We're going to change that to red. I'm going to drag this up. I know most of you are like, dude, we totally know what this is going to look like. Why are you telling us? Well, some people don't, and that's okay. I'm going to hit Shift and click on here. All right, that's not bad. I think I may need to put the legs closer together because I don't want them sticking out like this. So I'm going to move this over a little bit. And this one, the leg is fine. Okay, great. Now we have this. I actually duplicated this. And actually now I want, let me see if I can bring, I want this leg to be a little bit closer. And this leg a little bit closer. Now, when you're modeling something, it is okay to change your mind and be like, you know what? I want it to be a little bit more like this. The reason I'm saying this is because I think the legs might be too far up. So let me just move it down a little bit. Oops. Control Z. Let me click on this again and shift over here. Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. Again. Let me do that. There it is. All righty. That looks good. Now, I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and bring in the paraboloid for his upper body. The sides are already maxed out, so I'm just click on black and bring that. Right now, it's, I mean, I could do this, but if you look at it from this angle, the arrow will be up here. And I think it's a lot easier to control here. All right, so let's see what we have here. Now, here's the thing. I saw this printed one time, and if you don't have this ridge right here, it kind of looks like he's not wearing anything except buttons. Not the look I'm going for. So I want to make sure that wherever his body is, that I need to rotate this a little bit, that there's a little bit of a ridge, something just sticking out a little bit, just so that people know, hey, this guy's wearing clothes. At least shorts, no shirt, but at least shorts. So I'm going to bring in this, what is this called? Tube. Yeah, so complicated. It's a tube. And I'm going to shrink this down. I'm going to make this really thin. Does it really matter? Not really. So I'm not going to. I forgot about that. Okay, it's red. So I'm going to try to bring it up and try to circle this part of his body. Alrighty then, and right around there. Okay, now this is where you're going to have to try to get it just right. I'm using the arrow keys and I'm looking down to see. All right, that's pretty good. However, I want it to be above the red. I'm going to tilt it that way. And then I'm going to tilt it just a little bit. Hey, I think I nailed it. First try. All right, next one. I'm going to bring in this is for the buttons. Increase the sides, turn that to white. I'm going to shrink it so they look like little coins. No longer going to hit the shift. I'm just going to move it down so that it's flat. All right, that's not bad. Now, whenever you have something really small and you try to move it from the side, that's why I looked up. It can go super far away in an instant. Not cool. So I'm going to rotate this. Oh, let me press the letter F so I can get focused. And then I'm going to rotate this to the front. Now you can't see it, so I'm going to hit the arrow key this way. And let's go move this up a little bit. And I believe they're not 100% circular. I believe they are oval. In fact, I know they are, because look. Yep. I knew it. I speak truth. So let's, oh, it's hard to get that one. By the way, I did have a student that one time said she couldn't click on the little arrow thing. If that's the case, because you know that shows up right there, you can always zoom in and it'll just get a little bit out of the way. See, that's all you need. Now, very important, whenever you have something sticking out, you want to make sure it's actually attached in the back. I don't like this angle, so I want it to be like that. All right, that's good. I have one. I'm going to click Control D, and I'm going to duplicate that, move it over here. And I'm going to choose the mirror tool to make it face the other way. Saves me a lot of time. All right, great. We're done with that. Now let's make some arms. Whew, the arms, which is not that hard. I'm just going to, you know what? Let's make it even faster. Let's just duplicate this one right here. This leg, Control D, and let's just stretch it up. I know it's a little bit weird. I don't know, 40, is that fine? 40. And let's put a glove on here. I think if you do a search for the word hand, I think that'll show up. Yeah, that hand will show up. So I'm going to rotate this. Now, luckily, Mickey has some very large hands, so it's going to be perfectly fine for this to be oversized. And I'm going to rotate it back a little bit. I don't know anything about these numbers because I didn't change anything except the size, and it doesn't really matter because we're going to change it again. All right, that's not bad, but if you noticed, these have little tiny toruses, or what my students and I like to call donuts. And who doesn't like donuts? Besides me on a diet. All right, so I'm going to change that to white. I'm going to hit Shift and then drag this down. Then I'm going to drag it directly underneath there. All right, that looks good. Oh, at least it looked good from one side, but not the other. Let me put F so I can focus on that and then zoom out. This is why you look around. Okay, you got to look around your object. You cannot just say, yeah, good enough. Oh, you see the hand sticking out there? Let me move that forward a little bit. That didn't work. That's the one I want. All right. Now we have a hand. I'm going to group this, Control G, or that button right there. Okay, so now this is one thing. I am going to, let's position it first. So let's go ahead and, that's what I'm telling you. When you try to drag something on the side, it just looks weird. I'm going to zoom out so I can get a better handle on this. Get it? Handle? I know, dad jokes. Gotta love them. All right, so not bad. Not bad there. All right, I'm going to move that to the right a little bit. And that's not bad. Anybody notice the thumb is on the wrong side? Let's see if I can fix that with that tool. Oh, lifesaver. I'm just going to move it back a little bit though. Let's see, everything okay over here. Now also, when you're designing something that's going to be standing up, you want to make sure all the weight is on above each other. Otherwise, it'll fall back if you're not paying attention to that. All right, so that's good. I'm going to drag this a little bit higher, and I'm going to duplicate this thing. Control D, or that button. I'm going to mirror. That way it's facing the other side. I'm going to hit Shift and drag it over here so I know that they're both on the same line. Now I'm going to drag the whole body over here because this Mickey's getting in the way. In fact, I want to see his face, so let's turn him. Okay, so we're good. This Mickey, now the reason we have the hands up, not just because of the picture, but also because when you have the hands up, you don't need any supports for them. You really don't. So it makes it a lot easier to print without supports. Now, if you've ever had to print something with supports, you understand how much work it is to take them off. And I hate work. That's bad. All right, let's go ahead and get started with his head. I know it's a lot of work. Someone's got to do it. Let's go ahead and change the steps to 24 and this black. I'm going to hit Shift and shall we go to 30? 30 is good. Let's just go ahead and hit 30 right there because it's sometimes hard to get the perfect amount, perfect size. I want to measure it against this head right here just to make sure. Whoa, I think we went over a little bit. Let's go ahead and shift down to 25 maybe. Let's see what it looks like at 25. All right, let's compare the heads. That is close enough. All right, the head of Mickey. Yeah. Perfect. That's it. Have a good day, everyone. Just kidding. Let me make sure it's aligned. No, it's not. It should be right about there. All righty. So this is how you do it. First of all, I'm going to duplicate this because I know I'm going to need another copy of this later. I'll just put that right there. Okay, so I'm going to get a couple of cylinders. This one, and let me adjust this one first because I'm going to just copy this one. And I'm going to make it transparent. And let's go ahead and shrink this to about 10. And then we're going to drag this up, move it in front of his face, and rotate 90 degrees. Come on, 90 degrees. There it is. All right, I'm going to stretch this up. I know I've done this a couple of times already. Whoa, wrong one. And it never ceases to scare me the way it looks when I'm about to do right now. I would say try not to do this at home, but this is exactly what you should be doing if you're in my classroom. All right. Now, here's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to create the outline for his face. What I've noticed in the past is if you don't get this part just right, it doesn't look right. So it's very important that you get just enough distance away from each other and from the edge of the face, and this one close enough to the top, because it looks a little bit weird if you don't get that right. And so that's what I'm doing right now. All right, so move that over there a little bit. I'm going to duplicate now, Control D, and hit Shift, and over here. Now already I'm not liking where it is. Okay, I think I just passed it, yeah. Okay, so I think I need to move this one a little bit higher and this one a little bit higher, but also separated a little bit more, a little bit more. Okay, this is where I'm going to ask you to be strong. I know, be strong, people. All right, so here it is. I'm going to do it. Whew. Stuff of nightmares, people. Trust me. Oops, I duplicated, Control Z. I want to group it. And there it is. All right, not as bad as before, but getting there. I'm going to change that to brown. I believe it's this brown right here. Yeah, that's the one I used. And hurry, let's fill it before we remember what this looks like for the rest of our lives. All right, move it over. Okay, not centered. Why not? I know. I'll just align. I'll use the align tool. Oh, I know why. This has to be a little bit smaller. So I'm going to hit Shift, and then I'm going to go down. Let's go down to 24. Oops, I missed it a little bit, but still, I'm going to align it. I'm going to click the letter L, or you can click up here. I'm going to make sure the black one doesn't move. So I'm going to click the black, and then that shifts, and there. Much better. That is the beginning of our head, although it looks a little bit different. Let me change the color here. Maybe it's this color that I was using. Wow, it just doesn't look the same. I do not know why. Better? Yeah, let's just stick with that one. All right, so we're good here. Let's go ahead and bring in some, well, let's just bring in this one. Let's duplicate the inside, and then we're going to shrink it, and then bring it up. And this is not going to be the mouth, so please don't get upset that easily. All right, so the numbers here are 15 by 23, but I think that's going to change a little bit because I want this to be further in, just about there, and I'm going to rotate it just a little bit. Let's say 3 degrees. Move it down a little bit. Again, I don't want that black thing to go too far in because then it just destroys the illusion. I'm going to duplicate this and then use the mirror tool. Wait, something happened. Oh, I know. Tinkercad's like, wait a minute, I think I know where you're going with this. You didn't this time. I duplicated it. I'm going to mirror in this direction. And I've noticed, by the way, I'm going to move this over with the arrow keys, but I've noticed that when you're dealing with black in the background, it is sometimes hard to see the tools that you use to make things go up and around just because they're also black. So it's just a little bit hard to see. All right, now looking weird. Trust me, it'll get better. I'm going to duplicate this one again. I'm going to put it right at the center. And this one I'm going to move up. I'm going to rotate. See right there? It's kind of hard to see. Just as I was telling you, move it up. And I think I rotated it a little bit. There you go. That's better. I'm going to put, let's just actually duplicate this one, Control D. I'm going to shrink. I'm going to hit Shift and shrink this. And I know it's kind of hard to see because it's inside. I'm going to hit Shift and the arrow forward. That way it moves faster. Now I'm going to hit Shift and move it down. Now I'm going to move it up. This one here is about 5 by 5 by 5. I'm going to change that to black. Now, if you have not noticed, Mickey's nose is actually not circular. It is like an oval. like that. All right. Okay, now I'm going to duplicate this part of his mouth, or the top of his mouth, and I'm going to move it down. Whoa. All right, so now I'm going to group these 4 things. One, I'm going to hit the Shift key to hold them, to select all of them. There, all 4 of them should be selected now, and I'm going to group them. It's going to change the color a little bit, but I'm going to change it back by clicking on the solid and the multicolor there, back to normal. Alrighty then, so now I am going to do a little magic here. I got a half sphere. I'm going to rotate it upside down. I'm going to duplicate it, pick it up. Oh, let me make it a hole. I'm going to hit Shift to shrink it just a little bit. I'm going to go from 10 to 11. Now let's go 9. 9. All right. Now I'm going to, actually, you know what? What I want to do, sorry, let me get this in focus. This is way over here. I actually don't want to do that. What I want to do is I want to move this forward and then up. I'm trying to create like a happy face here. And to get that, I'm going to make this longer. Let's make that 30. There, that's a little bit better. And let's make it 25, yeah. Trying to create that shape, but not too big. It's got to be, you know what? Let's just align it. I'm going to click the letter L after selecting both of them and align. Not perfectly aligned. I'm going to click the letter L because I missed something here. There and there. And good. Now I'm going to group them, hit Control G or that button right there. Now I'm going to make this a hole. There it is. Now let's bring this up to this guy's face. And you're going to smile, mouse. Just you wait. I know you are. All right, that is a huge smile. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Don't want to scare the children. Well, I do, but mostly with homework. So I'm going to move this forward and then move it up, forward. And the reason I'm moving it forward is because I want there to be a clear indentation here when this actually groups. If I don't move it forward, the mouth will look like it's curving upward. All right, that's not bad. It kind of looks like he's wearing a mask. Kind of scary, but okay. I'm going to move this up a little bit. Okay, now, if that doesn't scare children, I don't know what will. Looks like it's a little rotated, so I'm going to rotate it this way. Just a little bit. All right, now let's see what this looks like. Of course, actually, before we do, let's put this over here because I've seen this guy without any teeth. He looks kind of freaky. So I'm going to quickly add teeth because I don't want to scare the children. Not without homework, obviously. So let's drag this up. Come on, you can do it. I got it. All right. Right. I'll put it right there. Okay, now I'm going to select this, which is all of this, and this one. I'm going to group it. While this is doing that, I'm going to move his tongue there and then forward. All right, so I need to rotate this. That's not bad. Now you see the black here, but you can't, when you print this, you won't be able to see that. All right, not bad. Now we need the eyes. A student told me that they did not like my eyes. Really? Shame on you, student, who said that. How dare you tell me the truth? I only want to hear what makes me happy. Did I duplicate? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to change that to white, and I'm going to hit Shift. Now, let me remind you what the eyes look like, okay? They're really long, and then they're close together. Just saying, that's what it looks like in the picture. So I'm going to drag this up. Let's say originally, actually, what was it originally? That way you guys know what I'm working with. Let's say 7 by 7 by 7. I'm going to make this like 13 or 14. And I'm not hitting Shift. I'm just doing, just dragging it up. Let's go with 14. Now I'm going to hit Shift and drag it down. Too small. All right, there it is. Now with the eye, let me click the letter F so that it gets in the center. Whoa, very important that you actually see this part, because you actually want to make sure that it is at an angle with the rest. But at the same time, if this prints and it's not touching anything at the bottom, it will fail. The eyes will have little tiny strings, and that will look scary. Trust me, I know. All right, so that seems to be fine. Let me check again one more time. Yeah, that's not going to fail on the print. So I'm going to click duplicate, and I'm going to shrink it. I'm hitting shift, by the way, so you can know. And now let's make it black and move it forward. Oops, forward. There you go. There's the Mickey we all know and love. I'm going to group these two. Control G, or you can click that button over here on this side, my bad. And then I want to see the two colors there. We're good. I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to mirror it right there. Now I'm going to hit shift and the arrow key over here so I can move it faster. Now, I'm not sure if you noticed, but they were much closer in the picture. So I'm just going to rotate this a little bit. There you go. That's Mickey, but something's missing. Something's missing. I don't know, something iconic that we all recognize from our childhood, which for most of you is right now. All right, so I'm going to put the ears, of course, and this is how I made the ears. I think you guys already know how I'm making the ears, so let's just go ahead and rotate this to 90, and let's move it up. All right, so I'm going to duplicate this, and the one that I just duplicated, I'm going to make it a whole. I'm going to move it forward, and I'm going to shrink it by 1. Let's see if 1's enough. No, I don't know. It's so hard to tell. I'm going to hit align, and I wanted to align in this one. I rarely use that, but I also want to be at the center. So let's, whoa. Can you even see it? Oh, I know. I'm going to click on this and then move it back because I want to see. That's what I wanted to see right there. It's not bad. Not bad. Oh, you know what? I need to make this a lot skinnier. So I selected both of them. That way they both get skinnier at the same time. And let's see what we get. I'm going to group these two, by the way. That number. Oh, let's move it over here. So it's a width of 20. You can keep it at 20 and a depth of 5. This also should be 20. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to group this. I like it. I made the ears really thin the first time I printed this, and they were practically see-through. They were very transparent. So I'm going to drag this up. Oh, he looks sad right there, like he's about to get injured. By the way, if you let anyone touch your print, you need to be ready for them to break it, because kids tend to break things that don't belong to them, especially if they're cool. I don't know why. It's just a thing. So I'm going to duplicate this, and then I'm going to hit shift over here. Wow, it's almost like I'm at Disneyland. Mr. Amparo, you just created Disney again, most likely illegally. What are you going to do next? I'm not going to Disneyland because I don't want them to throw me in jail. Alrighty then. So there you go. Mickey Mouse, the way you've always wanted him. Now, once you group all of this, feel free to change the dimensions and make it, I don't know, wider. In fact, if you want to do that now, we could do that. I'm going to hit shift. Now, this is your choice because it's perfectly fine the way it is now. But if you wanted to adjust this so that it's like this or maybe wider, oh, that's kind of scary. Up to you. Completely up to you. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you want to see other tutorials, go ahead and check out my channel. I've got a bunch of other things you'd like to do. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I think you should have a great day.